Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to, I guess, part 2 of the soup videos. If you saw the last one, you know I was getting ready to make 2 soups in one. So the potato leek soup is up there. Hopefully you guys saw that video already. But I thought let me jump right into the making the broccoli video. Now this one's a little bit different process from the potato leek. As you can see here, I've already pre-cut a bunch of old, well not old, but some extra broccoli stems. I'll add some florets in later, but that'll be more at the end. So all I'm going to do with these, you can see they're already in the pan. I'm going to pop just a little bit of olive oil in there so they don't stick and burn. And then we're just going to put the heat up on high, let them start to cook a little bit. As you're waiting, I've chopped up some garlic, so go ahead and throw your garlic in there. Again, if you have fresh garlic, that's the best to use, but if you only have powdered garlic or some minced garlic in a jar, that's fine as well. It's just there for the flavor. Again, very simple. Again, very simple ingredients. You just want to get some fresh pepper in there and some salt, whether fresh or whatever you have laying around. Just get some salt in there as well. You can hear it starting to sizzle up a little bit, so just get everything stirred together. Start to get some of that flavor in there. Alright, and then you don't want to let them cook too long because you don't want these to burn. You just want them to start to get cooked, start to get a little bit softened down. So just going to let that heat for a minute there, and then in about, probably a minute for me, about a second for you guys, we'll come back and we'll put some liquid over it. So yeah, just let it cook down a little bit and then we'll be right back. And about a minute later for me, I can tell it's starting to get a little bit soft and it's getting to a point where it might burn in a minute. So at this point, go ahead for the moment, turn your heat down and get your stock. Get whatever liquid is. Again, I have veggie stock here and some water. So get your stock in there. It's going to sizzle up a little bit. And then, again, you want to fill up the rest with some water. Alright, you just want to fill up with some water. Again, you don't want to overfill it. You want to fill it enough just so everything's kind of covered up. And then again, get your heat on high, and just like with the other soup, at this point you pretty much just want to let everything do the work. Let it all come up to a boil, put it down to a simmer, and then once our pieces are really, really soft later, we'll go ahead and blitz it up, and then I'll show you some other things to add into it to finish off the soup. So it's about 40 minutes later, and we're almost ready to blitz our broccoli soup. You can see here, it's nice and cooked down. The broccolis have cooked down so they're nice and soft in the pot. You might notice I added a little bit of some fresh herb, or some fresh dry herbs, some oregano and a little bit of basil in there just to help kind of brighten it up. But before we get to that, I want to show you guys over here a couple other things that I'm going to be adding to the soup. I have some broccoli crowns here, so I'm going to cut some florets of broccoli to add into the soup after we blitz it, just so you get a bit of extra broccoli flavor and people can more easily tell that it's a broccoli soup. And I know a lot of times when you make this, you make like a broccoli cheddar soup. I would say really if you have any other kind of cheese laying around, you can use that. I just happen to at home now have some white cheddar and some marble cheese, so I'm going to grate up some of that as well to throw into the soup kind of at the end as we're blitzing it up. But really, if you guys have cheddar, if you have mozzarella, if you have Parmesan, any kind of cheese that you can kind of grate up and melt into the soup will be good. Traditionally, as I mentioned, it is broccoli cheddar, but if you don't have cheddar laying around, you want to throw some cheese in there, go ahead and basically put whatever you got. If you watched the last video with the potato leek soup, pretty much the same method. We're going to take our pot, we're just going to move it over here. I'm going to be using my stick blender here. So once again, get it in there, make sure it's fully submerged, and we're going to flick it on. And we're just going to blitz up all the broccoli until it's nice and smooth. Now, as this is blitzing, also at this point too guys, once it starts to get a bit more blitz up, a bit smoother, we'll start to slowly add in our cheese. And if you want to as well, to help thicken it up a little bit, again, you can add a little bit of cream, and you'll do it at this stage, blitz it up, and then we're going to throw it back onto the stove afterwards, just to let everything kind of cook, let the cheese melt in, let it all thicken up nicely. On the low setting, I'm going to start gently folding in my cheese. Right, I don't want to go super high. I don't want it to all break down right at once. You want this. You'll see it start to thicken up as you get it in there. So again, a couple little handfuls or fingerfuls at a time. Let it go. Get your cheese in there. And once again, guys, I'm using a mix of kind of a sharp white cheddar and a marble, but you guys can honestly use whatever cheese you have laying around, just to reiterate. And you can see how it's starting to thicken up a little bit with the cheese being in there. So now I'm going to actually crank up the speed a little bit here. And I'm going to just essentially dump in the rest of my cheese. Just kind of scrape the plate off into there. Make sure you get it all in there. Then we're going to have it, again, on high. Let the cheese melt in. Give it a bit of a stir around. And let everything kind of smoothen out. Alright everyone, so now that the cheese is in there, the soup's been blitzed up, the last step, I'm just going to put it back on the stove briefly on a low heat, and the broccoli florets that I previously cut, now is the time to add them in, like I said, right at the end. So just get those off your board, get them into the soup, and again, you want to be on a low heat here, we don't want to overcook anything. Just kind of give them a stir in. At this point, let it sit on the low heat for maybe a minute or two, shut it off, and you can either eat it right away, or if you're going to eat it later, let it cool off, put it away in the fridge, and enjoy whenever you want to. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. That's how to make the broccoli cheddar soup. Once again, I will put a write-up of the ingredients and cut the recipe down in the description below if you guys want to save it for yourselves. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.